What's up, guys? It's the Joe and Shob Show, the new and improved Joe and Shob Show.
Only the new and improved Joe, not the new and improved Shob. No. You're Joe 2.0. I'm Shob 1.0. But we got a lot of things. We got a lot of things on the in the oven this week. I think we've really taken a step forward in our podcast game. Tell us why, Joe? Tell us why.
Because do you have a mobile device? Do you have a mobile device?
Potentially, maybe.
Well, if you have an Android or any Apple phone, there's only one Apple phone, it's the iPhone. But if you have like an iPad or anything, or any type of Google Play, anything, you can download,
or a tablet.
You can download our show.
Download it
on the Google Play Music app or on iTunes.
On iTunes.
How amazing is that?
We gave it to your choice. You're an Android user, you go to Google Play. You're an iPhone user, you can go onto iTunes. So that covers like 99% of people with mobile devices. So you want to listen to our show, you can do so. You can download our show so you can listen to it while you're offline. Mm-hmm. You can stream it. You can listen to it wherever you want. I don't know if you want to listen to us at all, but if you do, hey, there's that option. Right. No longer do you have to download it off of our links from YouTube. Our YouTube description will have our links to Google Play and iTunes, but you won't have to download it off of a specific website that we obviously didn't try very hard to put it on. But now we're on like respected podcast services. We're not on Stitcher yet, I don't believe.
There was an issue signing up for it, and they're just having issues over there with accepting applications. So Stitcher will happen soon.
Okay, I guess Stitcher, Google Play, and iTunes are probably the top three dogs as far as podcast goes. Podcast One is obviously something too, but that's more if you like have a partnership with them, like if you're Stone Cold or if you're Chris Jericho, not if you're Joe and Shob. But I think this really puts us ahead, really takes us a step forward into being taken seriously. Like we're trying to put this and spread it out. Any person who's got a podcast, you have places to put it on. And not only are we a YouTube channel, we are also a podcast. Mm-hmm. And not only are we a podcast, we're also a YouTube channel. We will be focusing on both. So just, bear with us, and we got this. I'm confident we do.
Very soon will be the first episode of a very, very special series. We got an idea for.
We're filming it this weekend.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
All right, so it is June 21st, Wednesday. We had Raw on Monday, SmackDown on Tuesday, and I, for one, we shat on the shows last week because nothing happened. Yeah. This week, pretty good stuff. Yeah. I mean, we have to review Money in the Bank. You saw a reaction video. We'll go into more in depth, more basically on what happened because there was some controversial stuff. I think it was a pretty D grade pay-per-view. It was not very good.
Yeah. C-.
But honestly, they picked themselves up off of it, I think. Mm-hmm. I think SmackDown just left it behind, and they didn't even leave it behind. I think they're going ahead forward, and things are going to get better. Mm-hmm. I thought we had really good television this week.
We did. Money in the Bank. We'll talk about that a little bit. We already gave our impressions and stuff in the reaction video, but not very good. Really.
Yeah, everyone had a pretty good summary for it. It was good to pretty good matches with bad finishes. Almost every single one with a bad finish.
Yeah. The Money in the Bank ladder match, the men's one, was a lot of fun to watch. But that's really the only plus I can give it.
And even then, that one even had a quirky thing with Shinsuke being out.
Yeah.
It's like, why would they do that?
Yeah, he was out for way too long.
It's almost like they intentionally made the pay-per-view as wonky as possible, to not give anybody exactly what they wanted.
They've done that before. Yeah.
I don't know.
I felt like that with the Clash of Champions last year. Remember that? But
it was actually that it was Clash of Champions. You're right. I was about to say Night of. You're right.
Oh, no, yeah, because they mixed it up every 5 seconds. Remember?
They do. the controversial stuff we'll talk with SmackDown, but if we're talking an overall review of it, I thought New Day, that was probably my favorite match of the night. The tag team match was so much fun to watch, and then it had just such a dumb finish. It's really hard to enjoy something if the ending isn't good.
Yeah, there's no payoff.
Because the ending is where everything ties together. So you could have 80%, like the first 80% of something be great, but if the last 20% doesn't deliver like those last 80%, it's like, I don't know. Why? Like if you watch a great movie and the movie has a bad ending, well, that's the way a movie ended, and you have to accept it. So, I don't know. That's how a lot of these matches felt. But that New Day match, that was probably my favorite match. I know the Money in the Bank match, the last one was really, really good too. But with Shinsuke being out the whole time, there was a lot of great spots. But I feel like I was maybe spoiled by the Fatal 5-Way from Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
I thought that match was better. I thought that match was better.
That match was amazing, yeah. See, like, the Shinsuke thing kind of irked me. The Jinder Randy match, I was looking forward to that because I was wondering what they would do. I didn't know like how they would change it up from the first one, and the answer was that they didn't change it up at all. They
didn't do anything.
Literally the exact same finish as Backlash,
except Randy did RKO's this time.
Yeah, that was the only difference.
There were old people involved, but the old people weren't involved that much. I don't know.
They were just a part of it.
Wow,
like, it wasn't.
It was nearly the same exact match. Is this feud are they gonna have another pay-per-view match? Like, would I want them to? Not anymore, knowing that what they would have to change something in the third match. But I wanted to see them go and be confident and make Jinder Mahal like look really, really good. And he kind of looked the same.
Yeah.
And I like Jinder Mahal. So I was like kind of excited to maybe see something happen like that. Maybe he wins clean, but it didn't happen.
Yeah. Him winning clean, I really was like, fine. I was like, man, that would be awesome if they did that. But I don't know. I didn't really see it as a like a big possibility. But you know what? Anything is better than how they actually did it, because repeating again, it's like what you said, where it was good to bad finishes, or good matches with bad finishes. Match was actually a lot of fun to watch until that finish. Now we were just like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. The two moments of the night, at least in my opinion, is actually that Ellsworth and Carmella's like moment. So much controversy, a lot of discussion. You know, sometimes when things are screwy, you're like, oh, come on. But when things have a great point of conversation and you're able to talk about it and everybody's talking about this and it becomes bigger than the match itself, like we've been talking more about that than did we actually have been about what happened in the match. And it's making for good TV. The storylines are happening, and they're going to have a rematch on SmackDown next week. Like, it's going to be a mini pay-per-view on SmackDown next week. I want to watch that live. And I really want Carmella to win it again, because how shitty would that be? Carmella wins bullshitty and then wins it again in the rematch somehow. That's
probably what will happen.
Yeah. That was one of the moments of the night as far as controversy goes. Having a heel do something good as a heel. You could definitely argue like, oh, you know, men having to help a woman. But Carmella had a great point. Kane helped Edge. I mean, Kane helped Seth Rollins win the Money in the Bank. Bray Wyatt wasn't in the match and eliminated Roman Reigns. There was no problem out of these things. But once you put a woman in, people bend things and create controversies that wouldn't exist if it was just men. Right. And I don't want to be sexist when I say that, but it's just the truth.
I really loved those points she made. Those were really great points, because not only did it reference stuff from like years ago, and they never do that. They always assume we have terrible memories. But yeah,
I was actually going to ask you a question about that at the end of the show, like with a little question thing. I was going to ask you a question about that.
Okay,
so we'll reference that later as far as canon for WWE goes.
Something to look forward to, yeah. But yeah, you know, where were we? Oh yeah, we're Carmella. Yeah, that is true though. Where sometimes it's you know, we look at it, and on paper, a man won the first women's Money in the Bank match. Like, oh, that sounds really bad. But, you know, in the context, it really wasn't like that. But on the surface, on the outside, someone looking in, that sentence looks really bad. And I honestly think it's a good point of controversy, like you said. And it's going to make for a lot of interesting debates. And I really hope the rematch next week, they don't just have, like, willy-nilly, like, Becky wins it, yay. Like, I hope Carmella wins it again, because I want them to go even farther with it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. I agree.
Because if they have a face win this next match, this rematch, it's basically just saying, all right, yeah, we made a mistake. This is okay.
Yeah.
This is the real match. But like, if they mess up again or not mess up, like actually, but like if they have a screwy finish again, and it's like, well, what do we do now? Then I think that's
it would
It
would ruin Carmella if a face one.
Right, that's true too. I really I'm really hoping that she pulls it out again. Yeah.
I've liked her more after this week. She came back with it, and she's like, she's using it as fire.
Yeah, that promo she did, like I said, was amazing. So.
Yeah. So the other moment of the night, in my opinion, that we're looking back in this pay per view is whenever Shinsuke comes back, and then AJ and Shinsuke have a stare down. In my opinion, I think they should have left it at that, and then they both just climb up the ladder, and then someone else interferes, because then you would have just that stare down for months to think about and to fuel hype for a potential match at SummerSlam, at WrestleMania, at whatever. But then they moved the ladder away, and then just started beating each other up. And I was like, oh, why don't you climb the ladder? Like, I hate ladder matches sometimes when people, like, someone can obviously just go up there and get the belt or get the briefcase. But then they're like, oh, no, I'm going to do this move to this guy real quick, even though I would win right now anyways. Like, that happens. And I'm like, come on.
But they're in love. They have to fight.
You're right.
Yeah, no.
But that moment,
it was still cool.
Fueled a lot. It was like the whole crowd was over for it. I was like, oh, this is real right now. They looked at each other and you believed it. And they're both faces right now. And it's like, you want one of them to win. You are looking forward to that match. They don't even need to do much. People are going to watch that match. New Japan fans are going to watch that match. Ring of Honor fans are going to watch that match. Smarks, who would say that they'd never watch the WWE, will watch that match, and that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I will say that like AJ in this match was nuts. Like that fall he did when he was holding on to the
when he was dangling onto it and felt he looked crazy.
You've seen, I think like Sheamus did it before, but like he swayed and then he fell on his back and stuff, and it was like, oh man, looks like it really hurts. But AJ, it's almost like he actually lost his grip and he just fell. Like, he didn't make sure. Like, I'm sure he's really good. I'm sure he made sure that he would land all right. And I'm sure, like, in those Ultimate X matches and stuff that they do in TNA, I'm sure he learned how to land well on, like, his face or his front. But man, like, that looked like it hurt. I was like, you cringe at stuff like that, rather than whenever they just like, land on their back. It's the same thing when, like, you talk about when they do a move on the announce table or on the apron and stuff, and like they take the monitors out of the announce table just so they make sure they're not getting hurt. But like, if they do a move through the announce table with the monitors in it, it's like, oh man, are they okay? Like, it's a whole different element. It reminded me sort of that. So good spots.
Yeah.
Good spots.
I liked that moment a lot. It was a good match. Did it make up for the rest of the pay-per-view? I don't know, but it was still good.
I wouldn't say so.
I'm talking about that match specifically.
Yeah, and I'm saying the pay-per-view as a whole.
So the next night we got Raw.
Yeah.
And last week we shot on Raw. As far as viewership last week, by the way, Raw was really, really bad.
That's fine.
Last week it was 2.96 million rating, and this week it was 3.46. So they got 500,000 people to come back on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's worth. I don't know. Is that like a big deal? I feel like people always report the lows, but they rarely ever go like, "Hey, look, they're back up."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's what media and journalism and news likes to do to you. They sensationalize the bad and rarely ever make a moment of the good.
Right.
Anyways,
3 million viewers. That's it's pretty good.
3.5
for what they've been doing recently. And especially since what we talked about last week with ratings and how it's starting to become a TV wide thing, not just a WWE thing. But yeah,
so I It was one of the best Raws in a while. Like, stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stuff really happened.
Everything was connected, sort of.
I don't really know what we should go into first. It felt like this was like the season finale, and everything that's happened the past few months like led to this Raw specifically, and I have no idea why it was this one. I guess we can start with Roman Reigns, though.
Yeah.
On paper, when you looked at it, what did you think Roman Reigns' SummerSlam announcement would be?
I thought that he was gonna say that he was gonna fight Brock Lesnar or Samoa Joe at SummerSlam. I did think that, but I thought Braun would come out immediately and be like, "No, I'm not finished with you," and then they were gonna have a match.
Oh, so before Raw happened, you thought that was gonna happen?
I did, because I don't think that they would do Roman and Brock at SummerSlam. I don't. I just don't think they do that, because, sure, we said that the sooner Roman versus Brock happens, the sooner that we can get all this over with, because honestly, Roman is the only one that they're positioning right now in this position to beat Brock Lesnar. But it's too soon, because Brock hasn't faced Seth Rollins, Finn Balor. He has to have more matches, I think, before he, has this one.
Oh, I honestly, in my head, whenever this was announced, by the way, Roman was, how is he not, like, I guess it's only perception. So if I'm perceiving it, I say Roman's a bad guy. He came out and said, I beat this guy that you like. I beat this guy that you like. Nobody can beat me one-on-one. By the way, a lot of the people he named have beat him one-on-one.
Yeah.
So, just saying stuff that's not true. Whatever. Heel. Okay. Fake news. Seth Rollins and Finn have beat him clean as a whistle, actually. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I didn't know what his SummerSlam announcement would be. I thought it was definitely something as far as the world title goes, though. But oh God, where am I going right now? Pick me up.
You knew his announcement would be something to do with the world title, but you.
Oh yeah, the world title. He's coming off as such a bad guy, and then Samoa Joe comes out, and it's like, who do I root for? I like Samoa Joe so much more, and I'm like, do I want to see Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe? Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, or Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. But on paper, I was like, oh, maybe this is them knowing that it's way too far in advance to set the main event of WrestleMania, and how about they just they're just going to do it at SummerSlam, do it early, and get it out of the way, because people are going to have, for the next 10 months, that main event looming over them, and people are not happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, even it's kind of like you knew that Roman and Brock was going to happen after WrestleMania. Like, it was just like, all right, when are we going to get to that match? And
I would want it to get over with. Like,
right.
Don't want not that I don't want anything to do with that match. It could be good. Neither of the guys do I care that much to see them win. They both win all the time. I wouldn't have a ton of emotion put.
I just want to swerve. I just want a good swerve.
Yeah, Undertaker versus Roman Reigns. I have emotion in that match. I don't want the Undertaker to lose, but you know what? It's okay that he did. He retired, and that's where my emotions were. Mm-hmm. The year before that, your emotions are put into the fact that Seth Rollins. 2 years before that, Seth Rollins cashes in. The year in between that, you have no emotions because Triple H wins. It's like, oh, cool. If Roman Reigns wins, it's like, oh, cool. So you need to have some emotional stakes put into your main event of WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So if they're not going to have that, because most people aren't going to care if Brock or Roman wins, do it at SummerSlam, because at least people won't be as concerned.
That's true. And if you do wait till WrestleMania, it's just going to be a repeat over Triple H and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and we all know Brock Lesnar wouldn't beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So it'd be one of those things where you could turn the TV off at 10 o'clock and not watch the last hour of WrestleMania. Maybe you'd miss some good spots. Maybe you miss a spear, F5, whatever.
Spear
maybe you miss
F5?
a few. Fuck you. Maybe you miss a few moves. Maybe you miss a few big moments.
Yeah,
but
like
you know the results.
F5.
It's like when you get spoiled from a movie. A big movie you want to come out in a year, and then 10 months is coming out. It comes out next April, same day as WrestleMania. But you spoiled about how it ends, and you know who the main villain is. And it's like, okay, like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but now I know everything.
Right.
So it's like, you're watching it with a different perspective, and I kind of want them to do it SummerSlam instead of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Any chance it's Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam?
No, I don't think so.
I would love to see the Samoa versus the Samoa match.
I think, I said before, I think Finn versus Brock is likely for SummerSlam, but the way that it's happening right now, I think Braun is likely to, because if you look at it, you have.
You just want to go into that segment now?
Sure, yeah. But you have Roman Reigns coming out saying he wants to challenge Brock Lesnar. He has a good point. He's beaten all these guys in the past couple weeks, and now you have Braun coming out, and they're going to have an ambulance match, Great Balls of Fire. And if Braun wins, then
why would he not be the number one contender?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
By the way, Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns put on a good match, but holy shit, whenever I watched, I was kind of spoiled about it. I knew Braun Strowman came back much earlier than he said he would, which you predicted.
I like that, though. I like that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Whenever he came out, you see an ambulance on the screen. I was surprised people weren't already like screaming just to see the ambulance. Because when I think an ambulance right now, I'm like, I know it's going to be Braun Strowman. But when the doors open and he goes, everyone's like, oh shit, yeah. I was kind of like that too. And I never used to care about Braun Strowman. What happened?
What a great
They did something right. They did something right because I'm so hyped to see Braun Strowman destroy people now. Like they did so well. There was some point in time when they started handling Braun Strowman right, because he came back and everybody's like, oh shit, and even I was like, oh yeah, he's not finished with him, go fuck him up, Braun. I
think I know what it was. It was when he started saying, I'm not finished with you. Also, It was that segment where he demolished Roman Reigns and flipped an ambulance.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Admittedly, wrestlers get over when they use phrases. You just made the list. What are some other ones? People love phrases. They sell shirts.
You can't teach that.
Yeah, and you can't. Yeah, exactly. So you have some phrases. Why am I not remembering like classic phrases? I lie, I cheat, I steal, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
You need stuff that people say. You need stuff for people to say over and over again, because then they put on shirts and then it gets said over and over again. And guess what?
I'm very excited.
I'm not finished with you is amazing.
I'm excited.
I'm not finished with you.
I'm excited for that shirt. I am gonna buy that shirt.
It's happening.
That shirt has to happen.
That's a pretty sexual shirt.
I'm not finished with you.
Yeah,
I guess it kind of is.
I mean, like, it's like someone gets up to go to the bathroom and you just, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It could be taken in a lot of other ways too.
Like, I'm not finished with you.
What? I'd still buy it. I don't care.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that. So, wow. I am so excited to see Braun Strowman do stuff. I hope in this ambulance match, like Braun Strowman's like full out face, by the way.
Yeah.
Like kind of like I wanted to see him put Roman Reigns in the ambulance so badly. I want to see him win and do big things. I want to see Braun versus Brock Lesnar. I want to see anything with him.
I'm just confused because you talk about the Hardys being like in and out of their character. Roman Reigns on beginning of Raw, he was a heel, but in this match he was the face. And it's like, make up
I don't
your
know.
mind.
I don't know what they try to do. In my opinion, like there's no. I don't know if there's like a set character stuff, like as far as who you're supposed to root for and heel face dynamic stuff like that. Sometimes they blur the lines, and with Roman, I don't even think there is a line. Like he's so obviously, if you ask fans, he's a heel. If you ask the company, he's a face. So it's like they're gonna do stuff where both of those things happen. And wow, Braun Strowman, baby, ooh, I cannot wait.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of deflating when the heel beats everyone clean, don't you think?
Yeah. I was actually surprised. We're going to talk about SmackDown and see Kevin Owens win clean sweep.
Yeah, but it was a pretty. We'll get there, but yeah, I wasn't surprised.
Is he a heel? Is he a face? I don't know. He's beaten everybody clean. I don't think he's going to beat Braun. If he does beat Braun, Braun's done. He needs to win. Braun needs to win.
All right. Finn Balor and Elias Sampson are having a feud. What do you think about that?
I don't care. I feel pretty bad for Finn because he was when he came back, he should have he has a storyline built in. It's the fact that he never got his reign as Universal Champion. So when he came back, a storyline should have been built around him getting it back. And he's just kind of sitting in the mix, not doing anything. And now he's feuding with Elias Samson. Like, where's the story there? Every wrestler should have like every important wrestler should have like an ongoing story and an ongoing arc that you can look back on. And that's how you make vignettes. That's how you make like hype videos. That's how you do all this stuff. And you don't do that with Elias Samson feuds. I don't know.
I think this is just something to keep him busy. I think they just, they want to showcase him at SummerSlam because it's like a big match for him. I think that, like, whatever match Finn has at SummerSlam is going to be a big match, I mean. And, yeah, I mean, it's Elias Samson. He's not going to beat Elias. Like, he's going to beat Elias Samson. Like, yeah.
I know. It actually shows that they, for some reason, really care about Elias Samson because he's been feuding with Dean Ambrose and Finn Balor, who debuts in feuds with those guys. Like, I mean, it's crazy.
I thought his like Finn Balor interrupting him and then the backstage thing. I thought it was cool. I don't know. Elias, I have no faith in. That's just my problem. But that doesn't mean that he can't gain faith.
Yeah. Well, I'm just extremely apathetic about Elias Samson. Yeah. The worst thing they always say, you can either get someone to hate you or get someone to cheer for you. But if you don't do either of those two things, then you've really lost. Mm-hmm. You want one of those two things. So even if Roman Reigns is supposed to be getting cheered, but he's getting viciously booed, at least he's getting viciously booed because if he was getting crickets, he wouldn't be on TV.
Right.
Because that's not always true though, because people love Ty Dillinger and American Alpha, and where are they?
Hey, they're in Ty Dillinger was in a Sonic ad this week, huh?
He was in a Sonic ad. You know who was in a Sonic ad? New Day 2 years ago.
I thought you were going to say Noam Dar, but no, Noam Dar was in a Pizza Hut ad.
He was in a Pizza Hut ad,
and then the club were like, "You're a nerd," and he's like, "Don't tell Alicia Fox."
In the highlight video I watched, they didn't have the women's segment with this week. What happened? Are Emma and Alexa Bliss doing stuff?
Oh yeah, I was actually watching Raw live, and it was 10:30, and I said, "Wait, where's the women's segment? Has there been one?" And I looked on like Twitter and stuff, and I didn't see one. I'm like, "Wait," and then they just had a random Sasha Banks Nia Jax match, and
who won?
I think it was I honestly don't remember, but I remember there being a no contest sort of deal. Bailey came out, laid out Emma and Dana Brooke, or not Dana Brooke, Nia Jax. Like she was out there fighting, and I guess Bailey and Alexa's still the main feud. I don't know.
By the way, I in the rumor mill, I have no sources. In the rumor mill, apparently they're going to build up Bailey for a storyline towards SummerSlam, where she hasn't gotten her first kiss before. So they're going to televise that and make a story about how she's never had a first kiss to like show how innocent she is, because they did that kind of weird thing with This Is Her Life about how innocent she was, and like, I was going to go in for a kiss, but it was her dad.
Corey Graves.
And apparently there's going to be a storyline about her getting her first kiss, and after she wins at SummerSlam, she's going to kiss somebody.
That's so stupid.
And it'll be her first kiss.
What if
I swear to God, this is I have no source on this, but if it's true, I'm good.
I actually on my one of my Facebook groups, I read this and it said that the source was Raja, and I said,
What's
what?
That?
And somebody in the comments like, who is that? Is that just some guy named Raja? Like,
okay, so you read the same thing.
Yeah, but I've heard it from somewhere else that wasn't Raja.
Okay, how bad is that?
That's like awful, and I really hope
it's so bad. Oh my God! Like, where did this come from? Where did the writers go?
If Corey Graves is the one to do it, is he going to like kiss her, and then he's going right before he does it, he's going to open her eyes and be like, "Oh, it's your dad."
By the way, Corey Graves is like an on-screen character now.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, he's cool.
From Pittsburgh.
He's really good at what he does. Yeah. He's from Pittsburgh. Him and Kurt Angle, they always talk.
Yeah. They always talk.
Do you want to talk about what happened in the main event?
Before we do that,
Cesaro and Sheamus had a match against Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil. Like, that was weird, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
Also, Titus O'Neil is kind of doing stuff with Akira Tozawa. He said, "The power of
I guess
Tozawa."
Akira Tozawa is joining the Titus brand, and I guess the Titus brand is also face. So hey,
Yeah, I don't know. I've cared more about Titus than I have lately.
I'm wondering where it'll go. I hope it goes like a little farther, and they get like shirts that say Titus brand, and then they all wear the shirts. Or they all have something, and like Titus brand gets like super big with all the jobbers.
Dude, Darren Young's gonna have his big return, and the Titus brand's gonna be so over. I'm telling you now.
I would actually be okay.
They're gonna bring back millions of dollars, millions. I'm kidding. Totally. They're not gonna have a big comeback.
But yeah, the Hardys and Cesaro and Sheamus just had 2 tag matches this week. Just they beat the club, and then they beat the Titus brand.
I thought the club were going to win this week. I was sad.
They were really close to winning. They did the Boot of Doom, and they lost.
They did the Boot of Doom. I missed the Boot of Doom. I love that move.
Kicked out. Oh, I love the Boot of Doom. But yeah.
I love it, too.
It's just building to the next match.
Oh, wait. Miz had a little moment with Maurice. Basically, they got back together. He gave her a grandfather clock. Because the last 2 weeks, Maurice and Miz has done something to make Maurice mad. So he forgave her this week. And apparently Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas are doing a little stuff with Miz. So maybe Miz is going to have his own little posse. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I love it. I honestly love it because Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas are doing nothing. They're talented wrestlers.
I would actually much rather see, since Bray Wyatt doesn't have a Wyatt family, Bo's starting to look more and more like a scraggly looking, weird, dirty kind of guy.
Maybe down the line.
I wouldn't mind it because he's not terrible at wrestling. And you know what? I think Bray needs a Wyatt family because, well, God, what the Wyatt family is like a popular thing, a popular stable.
Well, Bo has a good look, I think. Like in his match with Finn, he's actually pretty good this week. He had a mean streak,
Yeah.
Curtis Axel, he's a very talented wrestler. I mean, I think it was The Rock. Whenever The Rock came back, he actually helped get The Rock back into shape and, gave him some bumps. It's totally random too, but,
Curtis Axel helped The Rock get back into shape.
I think it was, let me look that up just to make sure.
Back into wrestling shape, right? You mean not physical shape, just to knock off the ring rust.
Curtis Axel trained with The Rock before WrestleMania 28, and he trained with Brock Lesnar upon his return to WWE. Yeah.
That's sweet. A picture of them. More than he's done on TV, sadly.
Yeah, there's a picture of both of them in the ring. Yep.
Hey, Curtis was IC champ. He has the ability to be a great wrestler. He just he's never really had the character.
The only bad thing I would say about this is that last time we saw them on TV, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel hated each other. That's the only thing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the show as far as paying attention to past stuff that's happened, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go on to the big heel turn of the week?
Yeah, this is big.
The heel turn of the week is not that Enzo and Cass broke up. The big heel turn of the week, Joe, is that I'm finished with you.
Stop.
Oh. Is that cringy? Was that bad?
Well, okay. Here's why. You said earlier that it had a sexual connotation, and that's why.
Shut up. Fuck you. Okay, well, you made it that context this time.
It's in my head now.
Okay, well, I'm finished with you as a friend. I'm finished with this podcast, man. That's what I meant. Yeah, we signed up for Google Play, iTunes. It's over.
Hey, we had one episode. It's a good run.
We had one episode. What a great run. Don't even count the other 30, whatever. Yeah. So, the past few weeks, maybe a month, they've been doing the stuff with Enzo and Cass. Do you think this is the right decision to break up Enzo and Cass?
No. But
yeah, I don't think so either. They had never reached their peak. Why break them up before they reach their peak? Unless Enzo gives in and sees the woe of his ways, and then they become a heel tag team. But then that's not the same. So it feels too soon.
I really didn't like that they did this, but I think that the angle was pulled off very well.
Yeah, I think it was pulled off very well too. A little bit cheesy.
But I mean, the hints and stuff they've been dropping every week. Remember?
Oh yeah, those were clever.
A couple weeks ago, and Corey Graves said that he wanted to shake the hand of whoever Enzo's attacker was. And then the next week, Big Cash came out, and shook his hand. That was something you had to look for. And this week, Cass's promo I think went on a little too long, but
it was good though.
But it was, it was pretty good. He didn't stumble. He sounded a lot more confident than I think sometimes he did as a face. And I'm actually kind of excited for Big Cass versus Big Show, because I'm assuming that's what's next, right?
Yeah, I hope so. He can become the big. He's the real big.
SummerSlam, Big Cass versus
not
Big
the
Show.
fake big.
Yeah.
It'll probably be on the pre-show. The Big Show, more like the pre-show.
What I don't understand is you wanted to push Big Cass as a singles guy. All right, fine. Well, why not just keep him as a face with Enzo as his manager? Like, Enzo and Cass
I know.
were very, very popular together, and we've seen this before with I guess the Royal Rumble when Big Cass came out as number 2 or whatever, or number 1, and also in the Universal title Fatal 4-Way. We know that they're popular, the catchphrases are popular. Enzo, sure, people were saying he's annoying, but you know what? People love him. He gets a lot of merch, that's very, very popular. And they're better together. But whatever, maybe they see some we don't.
Together. I don't know. I feel like maybe this is a good moment for TV right now, but I feel like down the line it's going to be harder to put things together for these two.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Down the line, Enzo as a heel, like that's never going to happen.
No.
I mean, it shouldn't. And what's Enzo going to do by himself? You need him as a promo guy.
Maybe just Big Show will replace him. Replace Big Cass.
Enzo and Big Show.
Enzo and Big Show.
Oh, Enzo and Show. Actually, that rhymes.
Ends show.
I like Enzo
You laugh,
Show.
but you can see it happening. I could see it happening because they've already tagged.
I don't know. This will be a storyline for a few weeks. I like how they set it up. I don't like. I don't know. On paper, I don't like it. Maybe they'll surprise us. I would like to see that. But by the way, how cheesy was it seeing Cass set up himself being beat up?
Remember they
actually had footage of it.
A couple weeks ago, and I was like, maybe he beat himself up.
Yeah, see, I couldn't tell if you've been serious. I'm like, nah, no way. Yeah, they did it. That's what happened.
But yeah, good episode.
By the way, how did Enzo not see that it was Cass who beat him up?
Because it's from behind.
How does he not just turn around after that? How fast can Cass
Enzo
run?
Is very weak.
Yeah?
That's his thing.
Is he? Oh, God. I don't know. It's hard to believe that it happened twice and he didn't just turn around and go, hey, you, how fast does Cass run? Where you can't just turn around and see who
I assumed he was like, Cass was behind him and then he like hit him with like a chair or something.
Oh, so he was like knocked out. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I assumed, but who knows?
And then he woke up and said, who did it? And then Cass comes back.
And then Cass is...
How come they had camera footage of that? Of him setting up and not him beating him. And I need to see that too.
That's actually a good question. Maybe Cass saw him laying there and was like, hey, how you doing?
By the way, I think the best idea for this would have been the Revival did it, because then Revival gets heat and you still have Enzo and Cass.
Yeah. Revival is still like just around. They need to be in the tag title picture.
They do. They'll be there eventually. Yeah. All right, so that was Raw. It was much better than it has been.
Good episode.
Yeah, good episode.
Oh, and
not as good as this episode in Joe and Shob.
Seth Rollins jumped on.
Oh wait, versus Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I'm
versus
mediocrely excited for this match.
Mediocrely, why is that?
I don't know.
Bray's
every Bray Wyatt feud is the same at this point.
Yeah, it is. He really needs to reset and like have a feud against somebody lower down the food chain where he can be built up and then beat somebody higher in the food chain.
He just goes on
because
he just goes on from main eventer to main eventer to main eventer to main eventer.
I know, he just feuds against people who you can't believe him beating, and then he doesn't beat them. He'll have maybe a moment of beating them like Randy, but then he never shines, and it's
right.
How can I care? By the way, Seth had a great moment with that suicide, like the dive.
Oh yeah, that was great.
In the dark, yeah, I didn't see that coming. I was like, oh shit.
Also, the cover for 2K18 is looking pretty good.
Pretty good, but his face covers the title though. Really bothers me.
That happened. I think it was 2K16. Stone Cold's hands covered like half the logo.
Oh no! And he also wasn't doing the middle fingers, but whatever.
But Bray Wyatt, like honestly, the Randy feud was the most unique one because the setup that was very unique. Every other one, he just he interferes in a main eventer's match and causes them to lose it, and then they have a feud and then he loses. Except for Finn Balor, because theirs actually never got started. That was dumb.
Yeah, they need to do that. Like they set it up and then they didn't do anything. So Raw, much better than it has been in the last few weeks. I'd give it like a solid B this week. It was good.
Yeah, I'll give it a B plus actually.
B plus. Yeah, it had moments that like culminated over the past month. And if we're looking at this as a TV show, things need to connect to each other. And you know what? This was like a little stopgap where things, set up for the future. I'm looking forward to Smojo versus Brock Lesnar. I'm looking forward to watching TV next week, and I'm looking forward, surprisingly, to the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. So you know what? Good stuff.
Yeah. SmackDown.
I'm gonna lay at the SmackDown. We're 41 minutes in. Let's talk about some Smacketh Down. So if we're talking about relinquishing. You want to talk about that first?
Yeah.
So obviously the controversial finish of the Carmella winning. She comes out. We already talked about the promo. It was great. And eventually later down in the show, all 6 women are out. Daniel Bryan's back. He gets a huge ovation. I had like a really nostalgic moment, and I never even watched him that much live. But seeing him come back with so many people cheering for him, I was just like, God, this guy has to hate his life. He can't wrestle. It's so sad. It's really sad. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, but I think he talked to Sports Illustrated or something this week, and he said he's working towards a comeback. So who knows what that means?
Yeah. I heard people say he's going to play out his contract and then potentially come back to wrestling, which obviously wouldn't be in WWE. But I think if he came back to the Indies, I think WWE would be like, oh, he's doing okay. He's not hurt. Let's bring him back maybe for a match.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell what exactly will happen. Like, will WWE like resent him for leaving? I don't know.
Will they understand that it was a life decision and he said, you know what, I am a wrestler, that is what I was born to do, and I want to see if I can still do this. And I think as a human to human thing, they need to let people have opportunities to do those kind of things because it's life. Not everything's always business.
Will this end horribly? Like, is in like bad heat between the company and him? I don't know. I don't know.
I have a feeling there's bad heat in the behind the scenes anyways. Like, not super bad, but I have a feeling Daniel Bryan's kind of like, why won't you just let me wrestle?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, so I legitimately like the storyline of, does Daniel Bryan, are you going to do it? Are you going to do what's right? Or are you going to listen to Carmella and say, there is no rules for this? And she brought up a good point. Does she deserve the women's Money in the Bank? All 6 women are out and they're just debating it. And you're like, wow, this is actually like a good, storyline going on. Do you agree with the decision to take it away?
I agree with it if, like I said earlier, if they go farther with it next week. Or bring it back just as far, because if they just have Charlotte win it, woo, 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 you know it, I'm not gonna care. Like, it's just gonna be like, oh well, they just, they tried it and they got scared, they got cold feet, so they just put it on someone else. That's what I'm gonna see it as. So
it'll all be great just as long as Carmella wins it again, because I'm okay with her being Miss Money in the Bank. She honestly, after that promo, might deserve it, and all this heat, she deserves it. She'll get even more heat. That's what you need.
Yeah.
You need a good heel, because you have a face right now. Take it down. Take her down. But did you see what happened with Tamina?
Oh my God! Yeah, that was so.
Oh,
cringy.
It's so bad. Tamina, God, I don't dislike Tamina, but I'm so apathetic towards her, and this was a moment where I'm like, maybe she's really bad.
Yeah, I don't really. I thought she was like kind of like black, kind of average, but oh my God, Charlotte said that she's gonna make Natalya look like James Ellsworth, and then Tamina says, "Hey Charlotte, I'll make you look like James Ellsworth."
It was so bad. It was
so painful to watch.
So people
and the crowd,
the
crowd popped whenever Charlotte said it, and then Tamina said it, and everyone was just silent. And I was just like, oh.
I know. It was so. She said it like right after too. It wasn't even like later in the conversation.
Right after.
The response was the same.
So hard to watch.
People were saying maybe it was Tamina's line and Charlotte took it, but I was like, no, because. Or they were like, maybe she was supposed to emphasize it. She was like, I'm going to make you look like James Ellsworth. But she was like, Charlotte, I'm going to make you look like James Ellsworth.
It was like, oh. I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. It was just terrifying. I don't.
It made terrible. Like a great segment look really mostly like great segment and storyline looks so dumb.
It was funny though. It was pretty funny.
It was funny.
I'm gonna see that on Botchamania later this week. I tell you that.
By the way, so is the Welcoming Committee not really a thing anymore since they're kind of against each other?
I think that was a one-off thing.
Yeah, okay.
Because it was like
now.
Think about it, it's the Welcoming Committee, so it's to welcome Charlotte to the brand. So it's like kind of they already welcomed her, so they did their job.
Yeah, I feel like Becky's been better lately as far as like character.
Oh yeah,
she's been doing.
They gave her a lot of character this week, and in Money in the Bank too. She's upset about it. So yeah.
It's honestly good that she has this feud with Ellsworth because it's putting her into that scene. What I'm predicting will happen next week is Ellsworth's going to try to do it again because the rule still isn't there. So Becky this time like does a Bexplex or something like that to Ellsworth, and while she's not paying attention, Carmella like runs up there and gets it. That's what I predict.
I can't believe I'm saying this for a WWE match, but I hope next week's match ends in controversy.
Yeah,
I rarely say that about a WWE match, but I'm saying it for this one.
Yeah, we should watch this together. I want to watch it live.
I think I work, but yeah, sure.
Oh, you fucker! We're not friends anymore. Oh, not friends anymore. Big heel turn.
Oh man. Oh man.
So other things that happened on SmackDown: Dolph Ziggler and Shinsuke had a really good match. It was better than their Backlash match.
I agree. Yeah.
It was so good. It was so good. I watched it on a highlight video on YouTube, and it was still really, really good. Dolph didn't put a ton of offense in, but when he did, like he was doing the famous, or he was doing the zigzag. Shinsuke was doing they were. I don't know why they weren't firing on these cylinders at Backlash. They had a good match at Backlash, but this was like really, really good.
They weren't warmed up, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, this is a good match. And
yeah, definitely a good TV match. They're not really feuding, so there isn't really much to talk about as far as story goes. But it just goes to show that Shinsuke is the best wrestler on SmackDown right now, who's not AJ Styles, and AJ Styles is the best wrestler who's not Shinsuke.
It's debatable. I think they're different, and I think whenever we finally get the match between them, I think we'll determine that for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Well, see, I think they're both the best. That's why I was like, Shinsuke is the best one who's not AJ, and AJ is the best one who's not.
We gotta pick one though.
Not true.
Yeah, not true. I don't know. I like picking.
They're definitely going to have a series of big matches in the next year and a half. That's exciting. Very exciting. Dolph's been doing better lately too, in my opinion. So that's cool to see. Kevin Owens had his U.S. Open challenge. I hope this continues to be a thing because John Cena did it, and that was a great thing to do. And I thought Kevin was actually losing some steam, in my opinion.
Kevin was losing some steam.
Oh, you're funny. I don't know. I was feeling like he wasn't as doing some great heel work like he was before, and he was kind of losing some relevance with me. So if he does this and is beating people every week with controversy, maybe cheating, and you're like, oh, you're not the real Universal Champion, you're cheating. But Chad Gable, and by the way, glad to see American Alpha back. Hopefully that continues to stay a thing.
Good funny
Chad
promo.
Gable's so good at wrestling.
Yeah, this match was great. And
it was so good.
I think it ran a little short. I think from what I
it was a little short.
I mean, Chad countered, the pop-up powerbomb. He countered the running corner, or the what do you call it? The cannonball in the corner. He had a lot of offense, so it wasn't a squash match. And his promo before it was funny because he's like, "I just moved."
It was hilarious.
This
He was like,
I just moved here this.
By the way, it was funny on Instagram. He was like, "By the way, I moved back to Minnesota." He said that. I was like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious!"
Funny.
And it also made a moment to keep AJ and Kevin because they're feuding again, I guess.
I'm okay.
And it made a moment where their feud continued.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know the landscape. I guess AJ and Kevin are kind of feuding again. Shinsuke and AJ won't be a thing for a while. So Shinsuke is going to be facing Dolph, maybe? Maybe somebody will.
That John Cena is going to feud with either Baron Corbin or Shinsuke. I'm going to vote more likely Baron Corbin because it makes sense, but I think Shinsuke is the more exciting match that I want to see.
Oh, yeah. I don't really care that much to see Baron Corbin versus John Cena.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. Who's Baron Corbin really feuding with right now? Because we thought maybe he'd be feuding with Shinsuke, Well, they didn't follow up with that this week. That was probably just because of what happened on last week's SmackDown. That's why Baron did that. And so, yeah, I mean, what else is Baron gonna? Who else is he gonna feud with?
Yeah.
So with John Cena feud, because now we learned that Randy Orton and Ginger's feud is continuing.
Yeah, it's the biggest question. Who is John Cena going to feud against? What is he going to do? Is he going to be on SmackDown?
I put Baron Corbin. I think that's what he's going to do.
I hope he jumps between brands. Like, he just does whatever he wants.
See, I feel like that cheapens the brand split a little bit. It doesn't make the...
Yeah, but John Cena's special.
Yeah, but it makes...
By the way, they cheapened the brand split the month of with Randy hopping to RKO Brock. I know
that was awesome because the security came out. And they threw him out.
Oh well, maybe John Cena every single time he goes to Raw.
No, because if they just welcome him, it's like, oh hey, it's John Cena. He's better than everybody else.
Hey, don't you know how free agents work in other sports? You just go to whatever team you want, whatever day, and you're on that team. Don't you know how that works? That's how it works. You're a free agent. That means you could play for whoever you want.
I think they're playing up the free agent thing just so they can immediately draw more eyes to it and then bring him back to SmackDown.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe Brock Lesnar now
too
till the end of August, basically. So I don't really see the need for him on Raw. If you're talking about ratings,
yeah, I agree.
Who would he even feud with on Raw?
Even though Brock's never on Raw though, so as far as ratings, so it doesn't matter unless people are watching just for the maybe thought that Brock has come there as a surprise, because otherwise they always tell you in advance.
He was sort of on Raw this week, in that promo package. So
yeah, but promo packages don't count because it's like I'm talking about fresh content,
right?
Like,
but it was still new. It was he did that interview thing that he did. Like
he's got to be there live. That's true. So Jinder versus Luke Harper. Why? What?
Very random match, but I guess I'm happy to see Luke Harper on TV.
Yeah, I was happy to see Jinder win clean. Just do his finisher, pin, win, and I want to see Jinder become something with this world title run, like make something out of it.
And he's going to RKO his grandma, so you better look out.
Oh, you hope so. I hope he does a double RKO to both of the little Ginders at once.
Oh, that'd be cool. And then
has there ever been a double RKO where he does both sides of his shoulders at once?
I'm pretty sure he has. Yeah, he can do that to the little Ginders, and then Jinder can sneak up behind him and hit him with his move, and then that's the end.
That's how Battlegrounds will end. It'll be slightly different, totally different.
Yeah.
By the way, he'll do the double RKO on the tables, and then run back
and
then
get the Dream Street or whatever.
God, I can't stand that they did that for the second time. By the way, Randy had a little interview where he tried to create sympathy. He talked about his father and how he's going to beat him up. I never sympathize that much with Randy as a face, so I don't know.
Yeah, I
didn't care that much.
Can't. He just doesn't. He's too
naturally bad.
No, he just doesn't have a character. Like we talked about that before when he was on the highlight reel, and he's like, "Chris, you look like Ellen DeGeneres, and it takes only one RKO to get to Viperville," and then you have him here. It's like it's two completely different people.
Yeah, it was a little weird. What was I gonna say? Shit. The only time I've ever cared about Randy as a face was whenever he faced Seth and he was leaving the Authority and they had that WrestleMania match. I got sympathy for him then.
I was like, the curb stomp.
Oh man, I want Randy. I feel bad for Randy. And he arcaded him through the table on the bra before WrestleMania. We went
to. And he got curb stomped on the steel steps. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Other than that, Randy as a face, he's just so much better as a heel, and he needs to cement something. And if he's not going for that title, what is he going to do after this? Is a big question.
I liked him in SmackDown 2011. That was when he was feuding with Christian, and he did the jumping jacks when he did an RKO, and then he feuded with Undashing Cody Rhodes. That was a good feud. Then he lost Finn and Mark Henry, so good for him.
So that was a SmackDown and Raw for this week. That was the fastest we have.
What do you think about Maria and Mike Kanellis?
Oh, I don't care.
You don't care?
I mean, for right now, I don't care. Did they have a segment this week?
No, but they had. I guess it was a SmackDown Fallout thing where it was a dark segment, but it was also on YouTube. But they were also Money in the Bank.
I know. I did see my Money in the Bank. For right now, I don't care. I could care.
I think it's
potentially.
fun. I think it's fun because it's very. I think it happens that a man will take a woman's last name, but like in the world of wrestling, it's so absurdly like funny to me. I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh, I don't know who these people are before they came on Money in the Bank, so I didn't know that they were in TNA together, right, or what?
The only thing I've ever seen, well, I knew Maria from like 2007 and 8 and stuff, but I knew Mike Bennett from. I watched the clip of Bound for Glory this past year where Cody Rhodes came out and he beat him up. And it was Cody and Brandy Rhodes because they couldn't say Cody Rhodes, so they called them together Cody and Brandy Rhodes. And so, they beat up Mike Bennett and Maria, and that's the only time I've ever seen them personally.
Maybe I do remember Maria from like 2007 when I was young, but like so many of the women blended together back then.
I don't remember her being very good. Also,
so many of the women blended together back then because they didn't wrestle back then. They were all just pretty faces.
Right.
And,
Kelly.
I don't know.
Yeah. There's a hilarious video, by the way, of Carl Anderson. And he's, it's him and Maria is the heel, I guess, or the face. I don't know what she is, but she's up on the apron and she's like dancing and like showing her butt and stuff. And Carl Anderson's like, yeah. And then AJ's like, Carl, get your head on straight. And Carl's like, no, you gotta look. And AJ's like, huh? And he looks and he just like takes out his mouth guard and he's like, yeah.
Oh boy, that is really weird.
It's like, and then Luke Gallows is like, guys, what are you doing? And then he almost like, he almost big boots Maria, and Maria's like, okay, I'm done.
Where was this at?
No, this is New Japan.
Why did I assume it was TNA?
I don't know.
That was really weird.
Yeah,
I need to see a clip for that.
It was just kind of funny. And then there's another one where she's like she's on the other team, and she's like all the way over on the other side of the ring, and Carl's on the apron. He's like, hey, Maria. And Luke's like, come on, shut
up. Maybe I could care about them. Maybe they'll do stuff with them. Honestly, putting people on who new onto the show, never a bad idea. They just gotta do something with them. I don't care that much about Elias Sampson. He's the most recent person who was just thrown in that I didn't care about. So hopefully, maybe they do something better.
Yeah.
So while we still have time, the question of the week I wanted to end with, because I maybe just ending with a question we could talk about real quick. We were talking earlier about stuff never connecting. Does WWE have a canon?
Yes, but not all of it necessarily is canon, I think.
Yes, because stuff happens and then years later, like it will never be mentioned. The character is so different and you could never imagine. And is the real life wrestler and like an actor, so he plays different wrestlers? Like does Husky Harris turn into Bray Wyatt? Like, are they completely different people or characters? On
TV, they might say no, but I know like Bray Wyatt in interviews in character has been like, Husky Harris was an old, like he's been like, he's part of my past. He's dead now, like stuff like that.
Because we can tell that they look exactly the same. And like, I was like, okay, maybe they treat different eras of WWE like their own show. Like, they don't connect to each other. They're their own thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, in the new era, you don't... Triple H from the Attitude Era, who drugged a woman, put her in her car, and like married her secretly, is not at all connected to an authority figure who wrestles guys and torments people's lives, who wears a suit. Like, these two people are completely different. And there's absolutely no reference to those two people having a thing. And I'm like, I was just at work. I'm like, is there a canon in WWE? Why do they ignore things?
I think that...
And they selectively ignore things.
There are some characters in WWE that are consistent, and I think that's very special. Like, Kevin Owens, right now, his career's young, but he's been consistent so far. Someone I always think about is being consistent too is Edge. Except for the vampire thing, but it was the 90s, whatever. That's
and Edge and Christian being brothers.
Yeah, but like that. Whatever. But yeah, he's a face. Then he teams up with Chris Benoit. He doesn't like Chris Benoit anymore. He turns heel. And then he does the thing with Matt Hardy and Lita. They work that into the storyline. It becomes a giant heel. He comes back from injury, turns face, fights Chris Jericho, turns back heel, turns back face, ends his career as a sympathetic face.
I think it's vital that they have a canon and something that when something happens, maybe you don't talk about it later, but like it still exists, because there are things that WWE would definitely say doesn't exist anymore. And I don't know, we don't forget. So like whenever we see Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins teaming up at house shows and teaming up on Raw, or Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins teaming up, if they never had a moment where they forgave each other and like had a moment where they're like, we're cool now, I'm still going to say, aren't they supposed to hate each other? Like, you need to show us on television, because technically this is a TV show and these are characters and things need to make sense. So I think WWE really should have like a canon kind of like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting conversation.
They forget. We talked about that all last year with Seth Rollins and Roman, how they just all of a sudden were friends again. And then we went to Roadblock and the night ended with them doing the Shield thing. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, and now they hate each other again. He was like, "My brother, I beat him." Like, what?
And
I don't know. Is Cody Rhodes the same person as Stardust? We'll never know.
I think they eventually said he was, because of the thing with feud with Goldust. Remember that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like,
anyways,
the Husky
that
hair
was
is Bray Wyatt. I will say the Michael McGillicuddy, Curtis Axel, Husky hair is Bray Wyatt stuff is interesting. I think that's something to think about. But overall, I think those characters did exist, but maybe not the same actor was portraying it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get
like
you.
It's like a comic.
Also, there are some characters that are completely portrayed by different people, like Doink the Clown. They're just like, hey, we'll have someone else play him. Whatever.
Right.
So that was a new and improved Joe and Shob show. This is our first real new and improved Joe and Shob show 2.0, where we're condensing things, we're putting things on, and we're trying things out new. We still talk about Raw and SmackDown. We spent time on stuff that was worthy of talking about. Maybe we didn't. This is a week where there was a lot to talk about Raw and SmackDown. So maybe there's a week that we don't have a ton to say about Raw and SmackDown. We talk about whatever we want. We spend some time on news, where we have a time at the end of the show where we ask questions to each other and just talk about whatever. Yep. Look forward to that. We got things coming. Good TV this week and good show and Shob.
Check us out on Check us out on iTunes, Google Play, and check out our YouTube channel, Joe and Shob Show. Follow us on Twitter if you want to. Go to our SoundCloud. It's Joe and Shob Show. If you want to download these on MediaFire, it's in the description of the YouTube video. A lot of stuff to plug.
Yeah. Well, make sure you check out all of our avenues. It'll be in the description, just so you know that option's there in the future. We will see you guys next time on the Joe and Shob Show.
See ya.